Greetings, I'm Dev the Developer. This lesson covers the foundation of HTML, where it came from, how character encoding works, and how the language evolved from early ASCII all the way to HTML5. By the end, you will know what doctype HTML at the top of every file actually means. Let's start with encoding. Encoding is the process of converting data from one format to another. In computing, that means representing characters as numbers so a machine can store and transmit them. Before a computer can display the letter A, for example, it needs to know which number corresponds to A. Encoding is the system that defines those relationships. The earliest standard was ASCII, the American Standard Code for Information Interchange. ASCII assigned a unique number to every character in the English alphabet, all 10 digits, punctuation marks, and a set of control characters. Simple and consistent. The problem was scale. ASCII only covered 128 characters. Sufficient for English, but nowhere near enough for a world with dozens of writing systems, thousands of Chinese characters, and eventually, emojis. Unicode was developed to solve that. Unicode assigns a unique code point to every character in every writing system in active use. Those code points are written with a U+ prefix followed by a hexadecimal number. The most common way to encode Unicode for the web is UTF-8. UTF-8 is efficient because it is backwards compatible with ASCII. Characters that existed in ASCII still take up 1 byte. Characters from other writing systems use 2, 3, or 4 bytes depending on whether they need them or not. UTF-8 is now the standard for encoding HTML. When you see the meta tag with charset equals UTF-8 at the top of every HTML file, that line is telling the browser which encoding to use when reading the document. Now, let's look at how HTML is actually written. HTML uses tags to define the structure and content of a page. Tags are enclosed in angle brackets. Most tags come in pairs, an opening tag and a closing tag. The closing tag has a / after the first angle bracket. Everything between the opening and closing tag is the element's content. The tag tells the browser what kind of content it is, and the browser renders it accordingly. Some tags stand alone. They do not wrap content, so there is nothing to close. These are called void elements. The line break is an example of a void element. No closing tag, no content. The tag simply tells the browser to insert a line break at that point. In the late 1990s, the W3C pushed to make HTML more rigorous. The result was XHTML, which imposed XML's strict syntax rules on HTML. Every tag had to be lowercase. Every attribute had to be quoted. Every tag had to be explicitly closed, including void elements. The requirements were strict enough that a single malformed tag could break an entire web page. Web developers struggled with it. Browser support was inconsistent, and XHTML never fully took hold. HTML5, which was finalized in 2014, went the other direction. It introduced a simpler doctype and a cleaner character set declaration, and a parser designed to handle imperfect code gracefully rather than refusing to render it. That doctype HTML at the top is the HTML5 doctype. It tells the browser to use the current HTML standard. Compare it to XHTML equivalent, which was several lines long and had to be copied exactly. This is 2 words and a closing bracket. When you read HTML, start from the outside and work inward. The doctype comes first. Then we have the HTML element, which is the root of the entire document. Inside that, you have 2 sections, head and body. The head contains metadata, such as the page title and character encodings. links to external files, none of that actually appears on the page itself. The body contains everything visible. All of the headings, paragraphs, images, and links that make up your page live here. Everything else is nested within those two structures. How tags open and close, and how inner elements sit inside outer ones is the structure we will be working with throughout this course. That is HTML encoding, the history of how characters became standardized and how tags work, and how the language arrived at where it is today. Even though there isn't much to create with this, still, don't just watch it, do it.